Hey, what's up everybody? It's David McGill. Now in this video, I'm gonna go over the paperwork that you need to have in your truck at all times. And this is the paperwork that if you get pulled in for a D.O.T inspection, this is what the officer is gonna expect you to provide to them. Now, this stuff is gonna be relevant to company drivers. However, the company that you're driving for, most likely they've already, created this folder and they have these documents in the truck. But it'd be a good idea just to, when you start a job, just to make sure as you're doing your orientation and you're going through your truck for the first time, just make sure that these documents are in your truck. Now, for the people out there who have their own authority or they're leasing onto an authority, like the owner operators out there, you need to make sure that, you have these documents as well. Some of these things, if you're leasing your authority, you're gonna have to get from your authority lessor. Now, if you have your own authority, then these would have been some of the documents you would have obtained during your business setup. Now, before I get into the exact documents you need to have, I wanna first give a quick tip on presentation. Now, I like to keep my documents as neat and professional looking as possible because keep in mind, you're going to be dealing with, D.O.T officers. So I want my business to have a professional image. I don't want, things to be sloppy, dirty, disorganized and things like that because I don't want the D.O.T officer to, have a negative opinion on my company and on my drivers because that opinion may impact the way that the inspection goes. So for little small things that I can do, like, having a good folder in place, that's what I do in order to, present my company in a positive image. So one of the first things I do is I get a 3-ring binder. Now you'll see on the 3-ring binder, I'll print off a cover page that'll just say, DOT compliance. I'll put my company name, the city, DOT number, and MC number on the front. Basically like the same things you would expect to see on the side of the trucks. Now, for every page, for every document that's in the folder, I use one of these little clear sheet protectors that, are set up in a line to be used in a 3-ring binder. So again, like I said, you're gonna spend a couple dollars on this stuff, but for the image that it conveys to an officer is well worth it. You get pulled over for an inspection and you hand them a pretty complete folder like this with all your documents nice and neat and organized. It may go a long way with the officer. Now, let's get into exactly what I have in these folders. And by the way, these folders need to be in every truck you have. So if you have a fleet of trucks, then the same information needs to be included in every truck. So the first thing you need to have is a copy of your truck's registration. So that's what I keep on the first page. Next, you're gonna need proof of insurance. So I keep a copy of a certificate of insurance and I also have my insurance identification cards in this same sleeve. You're gonna need a current annual DOT inspection for your truck. So I keep a copy of that. The next thing, you're gonna need the registration for your trailer. You're also gonna need the DOT inspection for your trailer. Now, if you're renting or leasing your trailer, you're gonna need a copy of that lease or rental agreement. Here's a copy of the E.L.D fuel tax license for the current year, by the way. Now, this isn't necessarily required, but I like to keep it in my trucks anyway. This is a copy of the UCR registration receipt for the current year. Now, depending on, what states you travel in, certain states have certain permit requirements, and Kentucky is one of them. And since we travel through the state of Kentucky, I like to keep a copy of the Kentucky KYU permit license. here's a copy of my sales tax exemption form. Now, many of you may not know this, but typically trucking businesses are exempt from sales tax in when you're buying parts and trailers, trucks and things like that. So for the most part, any companies that I deal with near where I keep my trucks parked, they already have this certificate on file with them. However, if I'm traveling, if one of my drivers is traveling, outside of our normal area, I keep one of these certificates in the truck with him just in case he needs to buy a part, or if the truck needs to go into a shop and they're going to charge me sales tax on something. I like to have a copy of that on file so that I like to have a copy in the truck so that way I don't have to pay sales tax. Here is the E.L.D. D.O.T. reference card. That's a lot of letters, but the D.O.T. E.L.D. reference card, you need to have a copy of that. You can find this. This will be included in your E.L.D. box once you purchase one. I use KeepTruckin, and I actually printed this form off the internet. Here is the E.L.D. malfunction guide. Now, in the event that your E.L.D. isn't functioning properly, you need to have instructions in your truck at all times that will instruct you on how to operate on the E.L.D. Basically like your troubleshooting guide. Now that looks like that's everything, but there's one other thing that you need to have also. So I just printed off this quick binder just for example's sake. This isn't an actual binder of mine, but if we were to go through an actual binder of mine, you would have found also two paper logbooks. And the reason why you need to have those paper logbooks is the D.O.T. they require that you have at least 8 days worth of blank paper logs. Now the logbooks that I use, I think there may be like 10 in each pack. So I keep 2 packs in each truck. So that way, if my driver does have to go on paper logs because the E.L.D. is malfunctioning, we still have enough blank ones to satisfy the 8-page requirement for the D.O.T. So I usually just keep that in the back of the binder. Now, hopefully this video was helpful. And if you did find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you know anybody else who could benefit from this information, please share this video with them. As always, thanks again for watching.